Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to do some finger pruning and some general cleaning up on a large old juniper bonsai. The purpose of this particular exercise today is to get this tree ready for a show that's coming up this April. So we'll start by going around the tree and looking at what's going on with it. It's obviously a very old tree. It's probably 40 to 45 years old. I acquired it in the early 1990s as a gift from one of my Japanese bonsai teachers, and he acquired it from someone who field grew it in a growing field in Palmdale, California as a pre-bonsai. I started working on it in 1995 or 1996, and when I got it, it had this lower trunk area here and a couple of branches here, and everything above the first branch I developed myself over approximately a 10 to 15 year period. Now to start off with, we have a piece of old wire down here on the first branch that has to come off. So we'll take our cutters and we'll just go in and carefully cut this to get it off of there piece by piece. That way we won't hurt a very old and valuable tree. Okay, this piece is being a little bit stubborn here. Alright, we got that. And let's see if there's any more of that in there. Yeah, it's in there quite tight. So what we'll do is we'll take an old pliers here, which I also use for other purposes, and try to leverage that out and find out where we can make the next cut. Okay, we're going to come in underneath, and I'll just kind of get under the tree here so I can get a clear look at what I'm doing. And that's out, and finally that last piece there. Now the next thing we'll do is we'll just kind of start going through the tree with our fingers and doing a little bit of finger pruning here, and kind of go from branch to branch. And it's just simple with a scale juniper like this. Now you get a large dead piece here, a tough piece, you may have to take a little cutter and just go in and go specifically for the exact stem and take it off. But generally with this kind of pruning, and we do this for appearance, and there's been some comments on some of my older videos about finger pruning as opposed to shearing the juniper, so I want to make sure you understand. I shear a juniper to build density when I'm trying to build structure and get heavy growth, and the reason I do that is because the trauma inflicted on the juniper by shearing will cause the juniper to produce exceptionally dense growth on scale junipers such as prostrata junipers, San Jose junipers, Wilson's junipers, and Parsons junipers, and to a somewhat lesser extent on something like a blouse juniper. But here we want this to look good for the show in April, so we just grab each little clump here and we just pluck off the tip growth, and we try to get everything kind of not quite leveled out. We want sort of a domed appearance with the foliage pads here, and so we'll work our way from the center out to the tips. You can do it either way. You can start out at the edges and work up towards the center, or work from the center down towards the edges. And to me, I try to kind of look at how the tree is growing, see what it needs, where it needs, and just kind of follow the tree, because bear in mind we're working on a living thing here, a natural process, so we want to kind of follow nature a little bit here. Another part of the cleaning involves taking off all the growth that hangs down from underneath the branches. Now we try to get each individual piece of growth here rather than shearing it, because we want to get as clean an appearance as possible. Now at the same time, sometimes I want to look and make sure I'm not pulling out something that's part of the foliage pad itself. So we're just going to proceed slowly and carefully here, because at this point we are working for appearance. And this branch is starting to look pretty good, but what I'll typically do is I'll work on a branch for a while and then I'll step away from it, because what happens if you look at it for too long is you lose your perspective, and then if you step away from it, work on something else and come back to it, then you'll notice things that you didn't catch the first time, and you end up with a better result that way. Again, this is too thick a stem to finger pluck, so we'll just do that. Alright, then we move on to the next branch, and we start finger pruning again. Okay folks, this is our result so far. It's not quite show ready at this point, but it's much farther along than it was when we started. You'll notice we've left a lot of debris on the soil from the cleaning process. The reason I didn't bother to put a cover over the soil or pick this off is because one of the things we're going to be doing in the very near future, and that'll be the subject of another video, is repotting this tree, and we'll clean the soil at the time that we do the repotting. So let's do a slow 360 of the tree and see what it looks like now that it's been cleaned up somewhat. And there you have it. Thank you for watching, folks.